Good afternoon and welcome to Dialogue with Deidre. I'm your host, Deidre Malone. I am so glad that you're with us today, and we're hoping that you're following us on our YouTube platform, our social media platform, so you can keep abreast of what we have going on here at the Carter Malone Network. So glad to say it's the Carter Malone Network, right? Did I get it right, guys? Okay, excited. So here in the studio with me today is Father Stephan Brown, and he is new to Memphis. He is the pastor at St. Augustine Catholic Church.
Yes.
Father, welcome to Dialogue with Deidre.
Thank you, Deidre.
So glad that you're here. What are you experiencing here in Memphis, and how long have you been here?
Well, I've been here in Memphis about 6 months, and I have been learning, and I have been listening, and I have been finding out about a extremely dynamic and involved parish and parishioners who have been not only pillars here in Memphis, but instrumental in civil rights, instrumental in social justice, instrumental in excellence in education. And I'm learning more and more about the history of St. Augustine Catholic Church and Father Bertrand High School.
Yes.
And so I'm finding is that in the 1930s, as they began opening St. Augustine, St. Anthony already was educating the African-American community. But young people who were being gathered by the priest, Father Bertrand would go through the neighborhood and just gather children to come to St. Augustine, and that time was on Walker.
Okay.
To not only to attend church, but to attend school. And so recalling history, in the 1930s, you had a great deal of, well, Jim Crow was full in.
Very prevalent.
Full law was Jim Crow, so you had these separate but equal schools, which were not equal. And so St. Augustine was providing a quality Catholic education, and the students who came out of St. Augustine went into areas of education, went into law, they went into a business, and so many of the students who studied with us became the leaders and sort of the movers and shakers here in Memphis.
So I'm trying to think if Jesse Turner's father was a member.
Jesse Turner's father was a member.
Was very active, just like Jesse Jr., in the local NAACP Memphis branch. The branch actually was named after him. He was that active. He and, Dr. Benjamin Hooks, Maxine Smith, they were like coming up in it and very active in civil rights.
Yes,
and so,
yes.
we named our headquarters after Mr. Turner. And he was a member of the church.
There's a lot named after Mr. Turner. I was driving across the bridge going south down Elvis Presley.
Oh,
and saw
yes.
Jesse Turner. Senior, that I came back to ask, was it our Jesse Turner? No, his father.
Yes, his father. Very, very active. And then Jesse Jr. is very active, too. He's the treasurer for the national NAACP.
Now, see, I'm learning new things as we're speaking.
Absolutely. So another member of your church who is a close friend of mine is Jesse Johnson. We both serve on the NAACP executive committee together. He's vice president over membership. I'm the first vice president, but I'm a past president of the NAACP.
So Jesse is responsible for me not having joined this chapter.
It's his fault, and if he has not given you, absolutely. That's
I need to get.
What does that say about him?
I've been a member at every place I've been. I've always been a member of the NAACP.
Let me just say, after this show, he will hand you an envelope.
Thank you.
So I'm so glad that you're getting acclimated to our city. 6 months is not a long time, but your church is one that stands out in the Memphis community because of the history and the heritage.
It is amazing. Wherever I am, I was out shopping at a Sam's Club, and I mentioned St. Augustine, and the people knew. And this is out in. Help me! I don't know all the towns that are in Shelby County. I think it's.
Was it Collierville?
Collierville.
Okay.
It was Collierville. Collierville. And they knew, I said, way out here, you all know what St. Augustine, who St. Augustine is.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm learning that St. Augustine is the lighthouse on the hill. It is in the story that that Mayor Wharton told me about the last leaf, that St. Augustine is the last leaf there of the tree on the hill there on Kerr Avenue on the south side. And so we are really trying to revitalize our school. I believe closed about 8 years ago.
I believe so.
And so we're looking at ways of offering alternative services for education and job training and formation for youth and young adults. So we're looking at hopefully having a GED program.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Tutoring program, job training program, and job fair. So we're trying to find ways that we can work again with the community to continue to be that beacon of light and hope that we historically have been over the past 90 years, almost at 87 years that St. Augustine has been in the community.
Let me just say, in that community has such a need. That section of South Memphis has such a need. So you're going to be a blessing to the residents.
Many in the community. I walked the neighborhood.
Good.
Knocked on the doors. I've met the neighbors. As I said this morning, we were passing out food boxes because the staff from Catholic Charities wasn't present. So we just stepped in and we made sure that people had the supplies and the food and the things that they needed.
You have to do what you have to do. And so the legacy of Black Catholics in Greater Memphis. Let's talk about what you're going to be doing in the next few weeks. You're going to be honoring some very special individuals.
If I could just talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
I was not fully aware of the historical nature of St. Augustine Parish when I was named pastor. I knew previous pastors.
Right.
One of our African-American pastors was Father Tony Clark, who was also, like I am, a Divine Word missionary priest. And then prior to him, a mentor who I knew as bishop was the Father James Patterson, like Franciscan priest who was pastor, and then later on became Auxiliary Bishop of Cleveland and then Archbishop of Atlanta. And so when I was in high school, I met him in Cleveland because he came to my hometown from here.
And so you grew up Catholic.
I grew up Catholic.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of the things that that he did as the first African American pastor of St. Augustine is he really lifted up our African American identity, and that we are not here to be tolerated, that our African American culture and identity is to be celebrated, is to be lifted up. And so I began to see that, as I said earlier, the influence and the leadership and the leaders that have come out of St. Augustine. And so I thought, as we are seeking to reestablish, the high excellence in education and formation and training of young people in a new way, I think it's time for us to remember, as I met people like Mrs. Grace Mitchum,
My word.
who worked
Yes.
with Martin Luther King and organized the sit-ins at the lunch counters, her work in civil rights and social justice, and Mrs. Ruby Wharton,
Yes.
the first African-American lawyer out of the Boston School of Law, and their work with social justice here in Memphis. And of course, her husband, the Honorable A.C. Wharton, Mayor of Shelby County and Mayor of the City of Memphis, and his work in affordable housing. It really, really impressed me what he sought to do to make sure that people had decent and appropriate and honorable homes to live in.
Yes.
And then we looked at the Bishop, Terry Stibe, SVD, the first
yes.
African-American bishop who retired 8-10 years ago, and really, to my knowledge, really hadn't been honored for the pillar and the trailblazer that he was and is
absolutely
with us today when he retired, and him having the vision to reopen many schools in the African American community that were closed.
Yes.
and him opening the Jubilee schools and giving African American children the opportunity for excellence in education again. And so I think it was something that came to my heart. We need to lift up, people like Deacon Curtis Talley,
yes,
who served at Holy Name Parish and St. Joseph Parish and St. Augustine Parish. And Miss Bertha Reen Young, Lord, Miss Bertha Reen Young, helped build entrepreneurial and generous donations in giving to help support St. Augustine to build the current facility that we have today with her husband Sullivan. So it seemed worthy and appropriate and important.
yes,
Because people should not be forgotten. They should not go by the wayside, not really being honored and lifted up for what they have done to contribute to the betterment of Western Tennessee. I won't say just Memphis.
yes.
And Shelby County. I mean, Bishop Stive was the bishop over
All
Western
of it,
Tennessee.
yes.
So I thought it was appropriate that we take this time to honor them during Black History Month, because they are people who are a part of our African American history.
And let me just say what's really nice about what you're doing is most people know. I mean, I was at a beauty shop recently, and these stylists are young women. Mm-hmm. And I just, I was ear hustling, and I heard them mention Miss Grace Meacham. Mm-hmm. And I said, I was just at St. Augustine. And there were a couple of funerals there, Jerome Wright. I attended Jerome's funeral. And then that next day, I believe, was going to be Miss Meacham's funeral.
Yes.
And they were talking about Sarah Lewis, all in the same breath. They mentioned Sarah Lewis. They mentioned, Miss Grace Meacham. And I said, y'all know about Miss Grace? They were like, absolutely. She would come in here. And so they talked about how wonderful she was. And I thought, young people knew who she was. Of course, all of us knew, Mayor Wharton, because he was the mayor of Shelby County. I was on the county commission. We were elected the same year. He was elected the mayor of the county. I was elected to the commission.
Yes.
And then he went on to be the mayor of the city of Memphis. But before that, he was the chief public defender. And so there's so many people in this community that, Attorney Wharton, public defender Wharton helped. And then his wife in her own right is a powerhouse. So I'm so glad you're honoring Miss Ruby. She is nothing nice when she wants to be. I'm being real honest. I love her. She knows that. But she is no joke, Father Brown.
Oh, absolutely.
She's not going to play with it. Okay.
I learned that very quickly.
And so I'm just and I had not heard of Sullivan and Bertha Reen Young or Deacon Talley. So I'm really glad to hear, those are new names to me that you're honoring these great individuals.
We really wanted to have a real holistic approach to this event, this Faith-Filled Hearts Lifetime Achievement Awards, because we wanted to look at not only members of St. Augustine, but also members of the parish who had influence around the city, around the county, and we also want to look at leaders who were spiritual leaders, like Bishop Terry Stibe and like Deacon Talley. So we want to look at different areas where they have influenced and led and shown great excellence in leadership and really cutting edge and shaping our community.
Wasn't Bishop Stibe the first African-American leader for a parish in this part of diocese in this part of the state? Or was it in Tennessee, Jesse, in total Tennessee?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I
remember
Memphis,
that.
But he really was the first African-American bishop in this state. Catholic bishop in this state.
That's amazing. I remember, I think I might have been at St. Jude when that was announced, and it was a big deal from in Memphis and Shelby County. We all were so proud. So so you're gonna honor these individuals. Talk to us about the event. What do you hope to do while you're honoring them?
Well, we have planned a gala where we will have music and we will have a silent auction. There are some very nice vacation rentals, some artwork from a local artist out of Atlanta that's a friend of mine that I'm donating from my art collection. And other parishioners have given gifts. There is a book on history in the arts and in dance and in theater. So a number of items for our silent auction. Then we're also having music from a violinist who will be playing, as well as a I think strings quartet.
Oh, wonderful.
Will also be playing. But we really want to come together, most importantly, as a community and really honor and lift up these men and women. We chose the theme heart because one of the sayings of St. Augustine, we're going back to 3rd century. Ooh. St. Augustine said that our hearts shall not rest until they rest in thee, O Lord. And so in celebrating faith-filled hearts, lifetime achievement award, these are men and women whose hearts have been restless, whose hearts were dedicated to service, whose hearts were dedicated to justice, whose hearts were dedicated to the dignity of all persons. And so in coming out and having such a great opportunity to celebrate, we want to invite the community to come, and if they can't come, to support us and to support and lift up these phenomenal women and men of excellence as we celebrate faith-filled hearts.
Right, and during Black History Month.
Black History Month.
So it is, what's the date? I'm looking, it's February the 24th.
February the 24th, and you can look at staugustinememphis.net, and you can attend, you can contribute, you can participate, and we would welcome you to come out. And
it's open to everybody in the community. Yeah, I think the tickets are, only $100 to support, and even if you can't come, if you want to make a donation to support, you heard what Father Brown is saying they're doing in the community with the food bank, with the food baskets, and with the educational services that they're trying to offer. Come out and support the church. So, Father Brown.
Thank you so much.
Before we let you get out of here, we want to talk to you, just ask you one more question. So what's your favorite restaurant since you've been in Memphis? We're going to get him in trouble, Jesse. We're going to get him in trouble. Is there a favorite restaurant?
There is a favorite restaurant that I like.
Okay.
I share that with Porch and Parlor.
Oh,
it's my favorite restaurant. It's my favorite restaurant.
The food is great. I've been there.
I don't go there often because it is
kind of pricey.
So I need nice folks to invite me to that restaurant. But the last person took me was Monty Flowers.
Oh, we love Monty.
He took me there, and we had a great meal. But it is probably my favorite. Yes, I really can't think of anything else that really
Okay. All right. Any last words for our viewers? I know you want to invite them to your church.
Yes, I would like to invite them to St. Augustine Catholic Church at 1169 Kerr Avenue. And I want to invite you for our gospel praise and worship on Sundays at 11. Well, come a little bit early because praise and worship starts at 10:45 and goes until 5 after 11, and then we start our worship. We are still in Black History Month, and Bishop Stibe will be celebrating with us on February 24th at 4 p.m. prior to the gala.
Okay.
And he will be our Black History Month speaker, and he is one of our honorees for our gala. So please come out to St. Augustine Catholic Church. And I hope it's okay for me to say I'm meeting with Mayor Wharton to discuss ways of summer programs and educational programs for youth in the community. I'm hoping to meet Mayor Young, to get Mayor Young support, as well as, I met Mayor Harris because he comes to
Yes.
Mass.
Right.
So I just want to simply say that I look forward to working with the community of Memphis, the city of Memphis, and the county, Shelby County, so that St. Augustine can return to being that beacon on the hill, that last leaf on the tree, and really lift up the south side of Memphis.
Let me tell you, Father Brown, Mayor Wharton is so well respected as a senior statesman when it comes to municipal government. I mean, he's well respected across the state, but even across the country. I can say that as his former campaign manager, who just really, I adore him and Mrs. Wharton. And so with that, I'm sure that Mayor Young and Mayor Harris will listen to him and whatever he wants to do.
We really would
help,
hope that they could
help
come.
You. Yes.
We were really hoping that Mayor Young and Mayor Harris could come to the gala to be there to support them and to support all of our honorees. And of course, Mayor Wharton is being honored to be there. But it would really be nice to see Mayor Young and Mayor Harris, who's a member of the parish.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to thank you. Unless there's anything else you want to offer our viewers, I want to thank you for your time. You are welcome to come back to Dialogue with Deidre anytime.
I appreciate it very much. I've always wanted to find a way that we could really make a difference here in Memphis, to make Memphis a better place where all feel welcome, all feel a part of Memphis, all feel safe, and all feel loved.
Yes. We've got some work to do on the safety, but I know that our leaders are committed to it. And if we keep praying and creating those strategies to combat crime, I'm sure it's going to happen.
Yes. And hopefully we can solve these problems together.
Absolutely. That's what it's going to take, a unified front. Father Brown, thank you so much for coming on Dialogue with Deidre.
Deidre, thank you for having me.
Yes,
and
sir.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So much.
Anytime. So we want to thank you for watching Dialogue with Deidre. And remember to follow us on YouTube, follow us on our social media platforms on the Carter Malone Network. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.